Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday afternoon. I had blue skies for a minute, and that made me say, okay, I need to make a video. I'm sorry I left you all hanging this morning, but it's been a tough night and a tougher day. I love everybody, and I appreciate that not everybody has the same opinion about things. And I am aware that not everybody knows as much about me as some of the long-term subscribers. Long-term subscribers know how much I love all these guys, but we're getting new subscribers all the time that are not aware of my history with animals or my history on the other places we've lived at the Blue Lagoon and on the river. You guys remember when I was watching the eagle trying to kill Angel stuck out on the ice on the river, and I couldn't take it anymore? The DNR said, let the eagle have her, and I couldn't take it. I couldn't watch that eagle kill her while she was helpless, stuck on the ice, and I pushed a canoe out there and rescued her, and we were driving her to Minocqua, and she passed away in my arms, and we did a U-turn and went back to Hayward. I care about all these animals. I don't own a gun. I don't hunt. And I spend a lot of money feeding the wildlife and feeding the critters. Yeah, I love everything about this paradise and every paradise I've created, every place else I lived forever. I'm 73, almost 74 in 2 months. And I've had baby animals since I was 1 year old. Baby geese, as a matter of fact. Yeah. But I was raised in a house. The dogs and the cats were outside, and the raccoons, armadillo, possum, 3 barn owls, 2 screech owls, a toucan, and a parakeet named Jose that cussed in Spanish. I was raised in a house full of critters. I have hand-fed owls and hawks that were injured and sick, and spent a day and a half on the phone trying to get help for Remu. And I was doing the best I can. Now, so you understand, I'm not retired. I'm just old and tired. I have to work in order to make the payments on this place, since there's only one of me here making money to do that. This is not a free home. This has got a mortgage. I have to work. Today is Saturday. My gas tank's full on my truck. Yesterday was Friday. Yesterday wasn't a day off. I had things to do. George and I managed to help the people next door, but I had a job. Yesterday was Friday, but I took off and drove to Tractor Supply to pick up stuff. I already had that, but I went and got this because it's got something extra. and I bought 4 of those. The Remu had laid out there on the creek for 2 days before I finally said, I have to go find out why she's not coming up here. And I had no idea when the last time she ate or drank anything was. I just knew she couldn't stand up. So we brought her up here. And I made her a comfortable spot in the hen house with vitamins and water and all kinds of grains and mealworms and other stuff. And then I brought her out in the morning and put her out there so that Remu and Emu could bring her food. And then she spent another night in the chicken coop. And I put her back out. Well, she was weak. And I said, Minocqua's a $75 gas bill away from here. That's 250 miles round trip. And my truck would have burned that $75 worth of gas to get her there, and I would have had to take a day off of work to do it. So, today's Saturday. Today she would have been going to Minocqua. I gassed up my truck on the way back from spending money at Tractor Supply to buy stuff. I had already diagnosed the issue, and I'll post that on the community page. We have a diagnosis. We figured out what was wrong with her, and we were trying to figure out how to fix it. But she still would have ended up in Minocqua if I couldn't. Anyway, I guess I wasn't quick enough to satisfy people because people don't realize I still have to have a job. And a person took it upon themselves to call the DNR. Well, congratulations. The DNR showed up. Yes, they came here. Very nice gentleman. Thankfully, he was a very nice gentleman named Evan. And he asked me if I was aware that there's only 2 reasons to touch a wild animal, even though it's on my property. The only 2 ways you can touch that animal is if it's dead, you're allowed to pick it up and throw it in a garbage can. Or if it's hurt, you're allowed to pick it up after you get permission from the DNR. You're allowed to pick it up, put it in your car, and drive it to Minocqua, 122 miles away. That's the only 2 ways you're allowed to touch anything. Okay. That's the rules. He was very kind in informing me of that. I have no issue with him doing what his job is. Whether I like the rules that he has to enforce or not, the man is fair, and I have no qualm with him. I gave him a tour of this place, of the entire place, but he walked down. George and I were walking right across the backyard there, and he came around the corner and said, I need to see that crane. And I took him straight to the coop. He said, you have to put her out on the ground. Back where you got her from, unless you're putting her in your truck to take her to Minocqua. Well, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wasn't going to drive 2.5 hours to Minocqua at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and dodge deer all the way there and back. But I had already gassed up my truck because I was going to take her today. I was wanting to keep her alive to take her. I knew she needed liquids. I knew she needed this stuff. I brought this stuff home. I mixed up a batch, and I got one syringe full into her. And then I was letting her rest while George and I did chores because it was going to storm today. It's supposed to storm last night. Anyway, she was in the coop. He made me take her out, and he watched when I set her down, and he said, do not touch her unless you're taking her to Minocqua. Sadly, she did not survive the night. So, that is the reason for my heavy heart today. Somebody's best intentions of calling the DNR on me had Remu pass away in the dark, in the cold, out there. She may have passed away anyhow. I'm sorry that I have a job and could not stop and drive her 122 miles to go get help to begin with. Anyway, I'm going to show you. I'm tired of digging holes. I do the best I can for everything on this property because I'm tired of digging holes. You betcha. Oh, we have another angel in paradise. Yeah. That's where she's at. Anyway, folks, I'm very sorry to announce fly, Remu, fly. I love you.